it's out of the question. You know how much trouble the women would cause. No, we'll just have to rethink the whole situation. Meanwhile, I'll have to decide what to do with Birdsworth.
Yeah. Well, look, Mrs. Davidson, it's about Meg Morris.
Yes, I know what you're going to say.
We can't afford to lose her. She's such a good officer.
I don't want to see her go any more than you do, but she has resigned. It is her choice, and we must respect it.
Choice? Oh, my God, she had no choice. You know it.
I do not want to discuss this any further.
Very well.
Now, you have a progress report on Mackenzie for me?
Yeah, well, she's not showing any signs of remorse. She gave the police a full confession. I think she relished doing it. It seems her sole motive was to stay here in Wentworth.
She must realize the women won't allow her to get away with killing Lawson without planning some retribution.
The police have pointed that out to her. She is relying upon us to see that it doesn't happen.
Well, that's all very well whilst she's in solitary, but we can't possibly appoint an officer as a bodyguard once she is returned to the women.
She seems to think we can. She's also aware that we can only keep her there legally for another day.
Yes. If only the isolation block were finished. The workmen say it'll be at least another 2 weeks. Well, Mackenzie needs protective custody. But I don't see how we can possibly give that to her unless she stays exactly where she is.
And then Dave, I reckon she's gonna stop me buy-up for a week. No fags! God, I don't reckon me lungs will stand it.
Yeah, well, don't come to me. I've got no sympathy for you.
Yeah, Bea warned you not to go overboard with them points, but you wouldn't listen.
There you go. I was only trying to get the bloody telly back for us.
Oh, I know, love. Lord knows how long it'll be before we get one now. But what I'm interested in is what are the screws going to do about the points chart?
Do you reckon that we'll have to start all over from the beginning again?
Not if I can help it, we won't. Mrs. Morris, is it true what we hear? Are you going?
How did you know?
Lizzie, you didn't.
Well, I can't help it if I've got extra sharp hearing.
Especially if her ear happens to be glued to the door. But have you handed in your resignation?
Now, you know the regulations.
Yeah, off by heart. Have you resigned?
All right. Yes, I did. There, you see.
But you can't.
There's no way no one will let you go. You know that, don't you?
I appreciate your concern, but you are out of line. It's my business, and it's done now.
Well, it will have to be undone. We should have some say in how we're treated and by who. And we'll damn well keep saying it until Mrs. Davidson takes that resignation of yours and sticks it where it belongs.
Yeah.
Listen, get Lauren to put these through the machine, will you, honey? Hello, Mrs. Morris. You've been a stranger lately?
Thought I'd have some lunch with you.
Oh.
Needed a change of scenery.
Listen, Mrs. Morris, I heard a rumor on the grapevine. I don't like it very much. It concerns Patty.
Judy, I can't tell you anything. It's against regulations.
Well, couldn't you tell me at least not to listen to rumors?
Sorry, I can't do that either.
She was such a nice kid. What a waste. Well, come on through, please. Didn't you have something you were going to do, huh? Have a seat, Mrs. Morris. I'll make lunch in a minute. Would you mind putting the kettle on for me, love, please? Hey, you're looking a bit down. Did you have a lousy week, eh?
I've had a lousy few weeks.
Oh?
I've just resigned.
What? Mrs. Morris, you can't do that. You're the only friend those women have got.
I cannot fight Joan Ferguson anymore. I mean, she watches me all the time and uses every rule in the book to undermine me. Well, if I don't resign, the department's going to sack me anyway.
What the hell for?
Barry Simmons slipped a few cigarettes to Patty before she... Well, it is regulations to be searched, and I didn't do it.
I can't believe what's been happening at that place. Well, I suppose you could always come and work here when they put me back inside.
Have you heard anything more about that?
Yes, more's the pity. Tomorrow's the day of reckoning. I haven't even got a solicitor yet.
From my point of view, she hasn't got a leg to stand on. I mean, you should be suing her for fraud. Shouldn't be hard to prove that she's just after your father's money.
Oh, I don't know what to do. I mean, for a while there, I really wanted my family back, you know? Healing old wounds, all that stuff. But heck, I got a family here, a beautiful family, Laurie and the baby. I never cared about Francis. What's the point?
That is not the point. If Francis is vindictive enough to press charges, then you should do everything you can to defend yourself.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I think I'll make the tea.
Hey, Lizzie, what are you doing? That's bleach.
Oh, God. I can't think straight since poor little Patty copped it. She's gonna be out of here today. Oh, Maxie, I reckon this is the rottenest thing that's ever happened since I've been in here.
Oh, come on, Lizzie. It's too late to upset yourself. But Nola Mackenzie's a flaming nutcase, I reckon.
Yeah, they should have sent her back to Perth. Hanging's just what she deserves.
No, Hanging's too good for that bitch.
Oh, dear. Well, what are you going to do about her anyway, B?
Wait and see.
You know, I saw this movie once about this guy on death row waiting to get the chop, and he was glad when they did it because he reckoned the waiting was worse than getting stretched.
Maybe we can organise a death row of our own right here.
How do you mean? Make her think her numbers up.
Well, it is if I get my hands on her.
Yeah, but how are we going to do it?
We can't poison her food. Screws will soon get onto that, especially after I laced her brekkie this morning. So what are we going to do, B?
Oh, hang on, I'm thinking. We'll start off by sending her a letter.
A letter?
Her very own death certificate.
Hey, yeah, we could make it look proper by using the plates from the print shop.
Right. Has anyone got a pencil?
Oh, yeah, here. I snaffled these out of the staff room this morning.
Great.
Beauty, Lizzie.
There we go. And what I want you to do, Lizzie, is take this down to the print shop and give it to whoever's on duty. Get him to print it up for us. Name of deceased, Nola Mackenzie.
Give me a ring if there are any more. Hi.
Thanks.
Have a good lunch?
Oh, just some tea and sandwiches at the halfway house. Had to get away from this place for a while.
Have you thought any more about your resignation?
What is there to think about? I mean, it's either that or get the departmental boot from Douglas.
Come on, Meg, it's not as bad as that. Mrs. Davidson wants you to stay, so surely she can just talk to the department. It could be just a reprimand.
Well, get a slap on the wrist and then make out as though nothing ever happened? No, thanks, Colleen. There are just too many restrictions now. I know we had to tighten things up after the fire, but I just can't work Joan's way.
But the restrictions are on the women, not us.
Are they? I can't even say good morning to Lizzie without looking over my shoulder to see if Joan's hearing. I mean, the only difference between them and us is that we get to go home of an evening, and even then we're searched. No, I'm sorry, I just can't stay.
Will you watch it, Lizzie?
Who was in the workshop?
Babs, and she reckons it's a beauty idea, only they can't get it done today because Poface is standing over them. They have to get an order out.
Oh, well, we're in no hurry. Mackenzie's not going anywhere.
Saw Mrs. M in the corridor. I don't think she's changed her mind about leaving.
Why would she? She's as fed up with the freak as we are.
Well, that stinks, I reckon. Can't we do something to make her stay?
I was thinking of talking to Mrs. Davidson. She can't be too keen on Mrs. M leaving either.
All right, you lot, get back to work.
I'd like to make a formal request to the Governor, please, Miss Ferguson.
What about?
A personal matter.
I think the Governor's far too busy to be bothered with you, Smith.
Is that right? Why don't you ask her?
Watch it, Smith, or you'll be on a charge.
Well, if that's the only way I can get to see her, okay, but I did ask nicely.
You're a fool.
I'd love to discuss my state of mind with you, Miss Ferguson, but unfortunately, it's against regulations.
Come in. Sorry, I thought my secretary said Miss Bryant.
Yeah, well, I am Judy Bryant. I spoke to you on the phone.
But I...
Yeah, well, that was my sister. She was impersonating me. She's trying to buy some time because she wanted me to sign my father's will over to her.
Oh, please sit down, Miss Bryant. This is quite serious. You spoken to the police about this?
Well, that's why I'm here. See, when I found out what she did, I got pretty angry and I thumped her. Now she's going to press assault charges against me. So I'm going to need some help. I'm doing court tomorrow.
Well, I'll be happy to represent you, but I think we should study your options. Seems to me that there are grounds for charges against her.